What does it do, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and welcome to episode 146. 146, my folks. And, well, this is the NBA season recap episode. This is my Lakers autopsy, so to speak, an annual post-mortem, if you will. And, well, it's also a preview of the very soon come NBA Finals featuring New York and San Antonio. So we'll get to that in just a bit, but to give you a sense of the marker dateline, today, this morning, my Rams were extremely active in the off-season market, and they traded V8, who you know, if you followed any of my Rams coverage, you know, I think quite highly of V8, but they traded him. They packaged him up with 3 draft picks, a first, a second, and a third, and they sent him to Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. But in exchange, the Rams get the indomitable, the incredible, the remarkable Myles Garrett. They get the best defensive player in the NFL. And so it has been quite a seismic offseason with the way the Rams rebuilt their back end, and then this move, not to mention the draft. But the reality is, my folks, this is not an NFL episode. This is not a Rams episode. And I tell you what, though, with the Super Bowl coming up in the Palace in Inglewood, with the Rams being so robust and active in the offseason, with the way that the last season ended, well, it's going to be very difficult for me to avoid covering it, I do believe. But before we get to any down-the-line projections, let's just focus on the task at hand today, shall we? And that is, well, New York Knicks tricks no more. New York, son, in the finals. They haven't won an NBA championship in 53 years, 53. Oh, it's been a long, thirsty drought. They're dying for just a sip of some championship water. So, you know, I like this New York team, and I don't think this is going to be one-sided either way or the other. I think it's very likely it'll go deep, 6, probably even 7 games. And so if in fact that is the case, well, hey, I just hope we have a very entertaining series. But I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if a series goes 7, anything can happen in a game 7. And so this one's, I think this one's a little too close to call. But if I had to make a call, I would. You know that I would. I will say that the San Antonio Spurs, with the alien Wimby, with that young assortment of talent they got down there, starting with Castle first and foremost, and then you add all the rest of them in. You've got Keldon Johnson, 6th Man of the Year. Wow, you've got and Ron Harper's son, Dylan Harper. Just you know, magnificent performances so far. And then you've got Vassell and Champagny, and they come at you in waves, and there's more behind them. Well, San Antonio, they do have a sense of inevitability about them, especially after you saw them knock off OKC, the defending champs. And so I think it's a great time in the NBA. 8 consecutive years without a repeat champion. Oh, there's always intrigue. Who this year? Who will it be? Not the dynasty era. I think that's a good thing overall for the league. And so San Antonio, I could see it. They feel inexorable. They are coming. On the other hand, this could be tricks no more. This could be New York's first and possibly final chance in quite some time to get a chip. They better get it while the getting is good now, because the other teams are loading up, and you don't know if you can get back here again next year. And so I think they should play New York with a sense of desperation, and I think they will. And they've had time to rest and heal up a little bit for the most part. And so, there's always that rest versus rust scenario. But I think in the case of New York, I think it's probably helpful for them to have had some time. And so I think the series should be quite entertaining. The one thing I will say about New York, though, if they were to win a title, if they were to become champions of the NBA, well, they would be insufferable. You know this, don't you? Oh, you could just turn the TV off. Monster, turn the TV off. Because they will be, you already see the Muppet is beside himself now, and they're just, in the finals. So, there's an old saying, act like you've been there. They're not going to act like they've been there because they have no concept of what being there feels like. They're thirsty. I'm thirsty for a taste of championship water. So, yeah, it will be difficult to put up with the fellow New Yorkers around in the vicinity for at least the start of a new NBA season, and if not beyond. So, at any rate, when I think about the outcome of this series, New York, San Antonio, well, my inclination is to go with the young, hungry kids. They've shown they've got that, that dog is in them. And they shown they can, they can knock off the big boy. They knocked off OKC. But history is prelude. You dig? And so, remember what happened in the NBA Cup just a few months back? Was it November? Remember what happened? San Antonio in the West played OKC for a chance to advance to meet the East in the NBA Cup. And New York was the team waiting in the East. See the parallel? And San Antonio did, in fact, knock off OKC just as they did again here now. Same scenario playing out. And then they, in fact, met New York in the Emirates Cup for the Cup, just as they are about to do now for the Larry O'Brien. And what happened? New York handled San Antonio, didn't they? They handled them pretty good. And so, styles make fights. We know this. And so, might it be that San Antonio doesn't match up so great with New York? Might it be that coming off a draining, emotionally charged, energy depleting, wear them out, knock them down, drag out opportunity to advance against OKC off of the exhilaration of defeating them, then for the title you go in and you lay an egg against the tricks. Tricks no more. We seen it just happen a few months ago, this same scenario. And so I could see a scenario in which something like that does play out. So as I say, I hope it goes 7. And I hope that we get a thrilling, scintillating, sensational series. Yeah, man. Now, I have to say a few words about my Lakers. Okay? And really, I thought about doing a playoff preview episode or a playoff autopsy episode for the Lakers, but I decided to combine all of this into one episode. And the reality was the Lakers, before the playoffs even started, lost Luka, the Don, the big galoot, lost him to the hammy, and also AR, who I feel very comfortable in saying, you need to stop calling him your second option. He is not. Austin Reeves has demonstrated his true personality. He has revealed his true identity time and time again. He is not a quality postseason player. Yeah, sure, he can have a great regular season on any given night, put up 34, 35 against the Pels or against the Hawks or what have you. Sure. But you get into the postseason where these teams lock down and you got to face quality opponents like Minnesota, a quality opponent like OKC or San Antonio, quality opponents like that. Then you see Austin Reeves is a liability of the first order. Defensively, we all knew that anyway, but offensively, he goes into the toilet. And I've seen enough evidence to support the conclusion that you cannot elevate this man ahead of LeBron James. But we'll get back to LeBron. Because the biggest fish that needs to be fried is the galoot, the Don, Big Luka. Now, we see fans and local media, we see how lustily they exalt Luka. It's Luka's team. Discard LeBron. LeBron needs to go elsewhere. We need to focus every resource on Luka and building around Luka, and LeBron be damned. That's how they talk. That's how they think. And so I understand when the story comes out, LeBron feels underappreciated. I get it. I don't necessarily think the Lakers organization has underappreciated or undervalued Bron. I mean, your son is on the team. So that shows you they do give a damn, the organization. But the fans and the local media, they're atrocious when it comes to Bron. And I've seen it firsthand. I've been in Staples or crypto and I've heard MVP chants for players like Caruso or Reeves. I've heard it, and not LeBron. When you have a legitimate, perennial, all-time MVP caliber talent on the floor running up and down for you. He came here for you, for this organization. You don't give him that basic respect. You give it to Alex Caruso. You want to exalt him? The reality is there is a racial element, a racial aspect to all of this. My point is only, I get why LeBron might feel a little salty. You keep hearing in the media and seeing these reports, and you hear there are these guys on the radio, and I've talked about local radio, 710 ESPN in LA. It is horrific. It's awful. And I don't know where the directive came from. It's the feminization of sports talk radio. They don't talk sports. They want to talk about their relationships. They're different. And some of them, I would just say, I'd rather hear less about. They're talking about every anything other than the sports world, and you have quality teams. You have the Rams here, you have the Lakers here, you have the Dodgers here, among many other teams. Fight on, USC is here. You have so much good sports content here, and yet these local sports talk, especially 710 ESPN, they don't want to talk sports. They want to talk personal stuff. What margaritas? Where did you get your pies? This kind of nonsense. It's infuriating. And yet, when they do have a take, so often, such a large percentage of the time, it's something to the effect of LeBron needs to go elsewhere. LeBron needs to go elsewhere. LeBron won you a chip. How quickly you forget. And so I guess before I really go too much further down the LeBron road, I just want to say, as far as Luka is concerned, you already know Luka's game is not my aesthetically appealing game to watch. It never has appealed to me. It still does not. Just because he's now in a purple and gold uniform. Okay, I accept winning. If the team is winning and that's how they're winning, okay, I accept that. But watching that shit while you're losing, that I wouldn't want to watch it. And so it appears that, all indications are that this is the way the Lakers intend to play for the duration of Luka's career here. They're just going to make him, I call him Jupiter. He's got dense gravity. And they're just going to make him the centerpiece and just, they're just trying to fit and plug these puzzle pieces in. Well, Dallas had rim running bigs and lob threats. Let's just emulate what Dallas did. They didn't win a chip in Dallas. See, that's the other thing. Luka has never won a damn thing. LeBron, he's 4-6 in the finals. 10 finals. 10. 4 championships. And you discard someone who resurrected your franchise. So I just want to say about Luka in closing on the galoot. Luka, what good are you if you can't perform, if you can't operate, if you can't produce in the postseason? If you're missing games because you have too many technical fouls, because you're being ejected for cursing out fans, because you have injuries, soft tissue injuries, and these plague you and they come out of nowhere and the whole postseason is shot because all of a sudden you pull up lame. Well, the person you want to discard, LeBron, you turn to him who is right there. 41 years old, right there, reporting for duty every night, ready to run, ready to go. Now you turn to him, save us, Bron. Okay. But yet you want to discard this man for an unproven commodity. You remember what Kobe Bryant said about James Harden. That style of basketball will not win a championship. Remember? Well, you could say the same damn thing about Luka. Well, see, as Becky Hammond said, prove me wrong. Because I have yet to see Luka hoist an NBA title. You lead the league in scoring, that's great. Are you winning it? How many championships do you have, sir? Not a goddamn one, correct? Okay, that's what I thought. Then don't be so quick to discard the man who is available and reliable and there for you. So let me just talk about Bron real quick, because I've already gotten myself a little excited. Do not forget, and I've said this on multiple occasions, do not forget what the Lakers were when LeBron made that fateful decision to come to LA. They were woeful. They were pitiful. The Lakers were lost and turned out. They were awful. They were the dregs of the league at the bottom. And they had been at the bottom for years. 6 of them things, 6 solar trips. That's how many years the Lakers were at the bottom. And LeBron James came, and the sun shone through. Oh, and the Lakers were in first place. First place in the Western Conference on Christmas Day, on their way to beating the Warriors, who were the shit at that point in time. LeBron took the Lakers from the bottom to the penthouse. From that, what was it Jesse said? From the outhouse to the penthouse. And then he slipped on that wet spot and tore his groin on that Christmas Day game. I never forget where I was. I was in a smoky hotel room in Vegas watching it. And once LeBron was injured, that season fell off the rails. But LeBron took the Lakers from death's door. They were deceased. The Lakers were dead. LeBron came, breathed life into him. Like Lazarus said, get up, stand up and walk. And the Lakers got up. And that was LeBron with all those kids. Remember Josh Hart and Julius Randle and B.I. Brandon Ingram and Jordan Clarkson was there. Remember all those kids with Lonzo and all these people? LeBron had them in first place in the West on Christmas Day, beating the Warriors until that injury. And then the very next year, he got rid of some of those kids, brought in the rubber band man, Robin Anthony Davis, and that very same year, the second year in L.A., he won a title, a championship. The Lakers are the world champions. Played a chicken loop. Now, granted, it was in the bubble. They try to diminish that. That's not his fault. That the world was on fire or what have you. They won the title. Now, has he made some bad choices, decisions, calls along the way? Of course, I'm not sitting here trying to deify the man. I mean, the Russell Westbrook situation, that was a poor decision. No other way to look at that. If that's something that he advocated for, and apparently, according to reports, it is. So there are other things I'm not saying, but what I am saying is he came. LeBron James could have gone anywhere. What do you think the New York Tricks No More would give to have LeBron James come to them and lift them out of their 53-year misery and take them to a title? How much would they value that, the media there, do you think? But look at you, the local LA media, look at you. Oh, he should go. It's Luka's team. I hear them say, I've heard it. My folks, I've heard them say, well, Luka's a real Laker. LeBron was never a real Laker. I've heard him on 710 ESPN espousing this kind of heinous rhetoric. This is pure subjective falderall, a.k.a. bullshit. Luka's a real Laker? Based on what? Because he got traded in the middle of the night without having any say in it whatsoever? That makes him a real Laker? Or is it something else? LeBron's not a real Laker? How come? Based on what? Because he chose to come to L.A. and lift a miserable, dead-ass franchise up and rise them to the penthouse. And he's not a real Laker? Based on what? And see, because I am such a Laker fan, that's why I hope, LeBron, I hope you can weed through all the bullshit out there and understand that there are core Laker fans that appreciate the fact that you brought your talents to Southern California. Yeah, man. And we would like to see you retire here. And I hope that's what happens. And I hope that the new ownership group in the front office there I hope they have the wherewithal, the foresight, and the appreciation for what the man meant to the franchise to give him the proper farewell as a Laker. Yeah. So I don't really have to go any further. I feel like I have probably said way more than enough. So I understand Bron's frustration. I do. But I hope, you look past that. Know the real ones out there do value your service and your time here. Thank you for your time here, Brother Bron, okay? And so, my folks, at this point in time, all I'm going to ask from you, all I'm going to ask you to do is throw me one of these. Please like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking if you're so inclined. And I don't know the future format of the channel at this moment, but I will say I appreciate you for watching. And so until the next one, Scotty says, one love.